All right, guys, you know what we're doing today. It's new bike build day. For the ones who've seen this box on Instagram, no, it's not the Carbon. I'm sorry. I do wish I was presenting the Carbon bike to you guys. Those bikes are not ready as much as you guys have been asking. But we are building another cool bike today. The frame is nothing you haven't seen already. This is a black on gray Chase RSP5. Yes, I've already built RSP5, but this one's gonna be a little different. I'll pull these off and explain. As you guys have seen, I sized up on my bikes this year. When I first got on Chase, I wanted a dirt jumper, but I didn't want to ride another brand. I wanted to build a dirt jumper that was very similar to my race bike. So as much as I kind of switch around from bikes between dirt jumpers and race bikes and mountain bikes, when I got on Chase, I was just head down, purely focused on BMX racing, but we gotta own a dirt jumper. So I wanted to have a dirt jumper that rode like my race bike. So the goal for today, as much as this was originally the goal when I built my first RSP dirt jumper, we all know the 26-inch dirt jumpers, right? For the first time in my career, I really just wanted to keep my head down and focus on BMX racing. So I put the 26-inch dirt jumper to the side. So for the ones who might not know, freestyle bikes or dirt jump bikes are usually built out of chromoly, a steel frame. Steel has more flex than aluminum. So originally in BMX, everybody back in the 80s, 90s, everybody was riding steel chromoly frames. Then the industry moved to aluminum frames, which made things a little lighter, a little stiffer, a little more rigid to come out of the starting gate. Think about a bike that moves around a lot. When you're really putting all that power down out of the starting gate, the bike's gonna move, right? And those pedal strokes are just not gonna be as efficient if your bike is super flexy underneath you. And now obviously the sport has progressed to carbon fiber. Again, stiffer and even lighter than aluminum. But the mountain bike slopestyle world, a lot of these guys ride aluminum slopestyle hardtail dirt jump bikes. So stiffer frames, right? But you got bigger wheels, you got bigger tires, you got suspension on the front. So the stiffness of that frame really doesn't show as much as it would on a little BMX bike. So my goal when I built the RSP as a dirt jumper, obviously I wasn't gonna have suspension on the front, but biggest BMX Maxxis tires come in a 2.30 and a 2.40. Well, you get a fatter tire, run the PSI a little lower, there's gonna be a little bit of cushion there, right? So, well, the tires ended up being my hiccup. The original RSP has a very narrow chainstay, so it only allows for so much tire clearance. In BMX racing, very rarely do you see anything over a 1.75 tire in the rear. So with a 7.5, you're not really worried about the tire touching the frame. Well, if you want to put something thicker on these RSPs, the tire will rub. And even in the case I ran to, if I ran the tire too big, like I have on the bike right now, the way the frame is made, it wouldn't allow you to slide the back wheel off the frame without taking the air out. So my Chase hybrid dirt jumper that I've been riding since 2022 didn't really go as planned. Well, when I built my last bike, I realized that rear end looks a little fatter. So I pulled my dirt jumper off the wall, compared it, and they drastically widened this rear end of this frame. So since I sized up, it gave me a good reason to build a new bike and build the hybrid BMX race dirt jumper that I've been wanting to build. So I'm gonna stick with talking about the couple features about this bike that's gonna make it more of a dirt jump style riding bike versus a BMX race style bike. Now, this isn't a completely new build. I'm gonna be recycling pretty much all the parts off this old bike and putting them on here. But we did get a few new things. We did bump up to an 8.5 11 bar. We have a new 39 tooth gear. And then finally, we did get a set of matching Icon rims, which is gonna look super sick with this bike, but hubs and spokes didn't arrive. So we're gonna save these for another wheel build video. Those will go on later, but for the meantime, if you guys don't know, Icon does rim stickers so you can actually change the color of your rims. So I have red Icon carbon rims on this dirt jump bike now. We're gonna switch it to gray. So for the front end, we're obviously not gonna put an Icon carbon fork on here, right? We are smarter than that. We're not going that full race bike. This fork is the 11 chromoly fork with a tapered head tube, which is cool because all these bikes that have these tapered head tubes nowadays, if you put a traditional chromoly fork in the frame with like the adapter, it's just gonna be super goofy looking. So what's cool about this 11 fork is it's just got a nice clean look. You can see how the crown of the fork is tapered out, so it just kind of makes everything kind of sleek to the frame. Makes it look like it's actually made for this bike and not just a small chromoly fork with an adapter on it. So yeah, most of you guys know I run a 7.5-inch bar on my race bike, right? In racing, you really want to be over the front of the bike. Come out of the gate, you need something to pull on. When I'm doing clinics or even my personal riders I work with, one of the first things I pick up on are bars that are too high. Most of my career, I was that rider that had bars too high and way too wide. That's why I put so much stress on bar height now, because I personally felt the difference on what it's like to actually drop that front end down and have something to pull on. So you gotta think, if your bars are up tall, this is dramatic, like if your bars are up tall and you're in the gate, you can't really pull against those bars while you're pushing down on those pedals, right? So you wanna be over the front, you wanna be in that attack position all the time in racing. Being in that attack position is always gonna have us up front, kind of battling for the front of the pack, right? Now for this bike, I'm going with an 8.5 because it's my dirt jumper. I want to be standing tall. Now that's the difference in the race world and the freestyle world. Racing, we wanna be over the front. We wanna be able to pull on our bars. We wanna be in attack mode. But in the freestyle world, you wanna stand up a lot taller. Think about racetrack jumps versus freestyle jumps. Racetrack jumps are pretty mellow and flat that send you forward, right? Freestyle jumps send you up in the air. So when you ride a steep lip, you want to be able to stand tall and jump up. That's why guys run those taller bars. It allows you to stand up tall. So if you ever ride your race bike at a skate park or trails, handlebars feel a little odd because you're over the front riding into a steep transition. So that's what we're gonna go to 8.5s. Front end is on, cable is wrapped. For the ones who don't know, the cable is wrapped around the head tube. That way I can spin bar spins and the cable doesn't actually get wrapped up. Moment of truth. I got the Maxxis 2.3 mounted up to the Icon carbon rims. It's a fat one. That's the biggest thing about building this bike. I can put big tires on here. Bigger tires mean I could run a little bit lower PSI and have a little cushion. So the idea, this bike should ride pretty smooth on some dirt jumps, being an aluminum race frame. New cable routing, no V-brake mounts, and then a wider rear kind of wishbone area. This is old news now, as this bike's been out for a couple years, but it's all new to me because those are things I just didn't pick up on when I built my first RSP5. And I'm not gonna mention it yet, it's just gonna be a teaser, but I came up with a killer video idea for this bike, but I'm gonna keep that one to myself because that could be a new video project to come. So, yeah, all right, everything fits. I'm gonna finish tightening this up, throw a chain on there, and then I'm gonna go see if I can ride the new dirt jumps. Not new dirt jumps, but the yard has been in a little bit of an overhaul that you guys haven't seen yet. I'll finish it up and we'll do a final reveal. All right, there she is. Well, kind of. They only sent me one rim sticker pack, so it feels massive. Big bars, big tires. It's pretty cool they make stickers for these rims like that because obviously these carbon rims aren't cheap, right? So if you get the carbon rims and then you get a color that matches the bike and then the next year you have another color, it's not very convenient just to go buy new carbon rims just for new color, right? So they made that actually pretty simple. Those stickers are a perfect fit and yeah, easy to apply. We have new rims on one side. Everything minus the tires you can get for this bike at brgstore.com. I'll link all that below. So if you're looking to build a bike like this or simply just get a couple of these parts, again, all that will be linked below. I'm gonna go get the jumps dialed because they're pretty rough and then see if we can take the first laps of the year. Okay, like I said, the place is under construction. It's looking a little rough out here, but with the purpose of this bike, we don't need it too smooth. It's a good test. Everything's bumpy, nothing's smooth at all. We're just gonna assume that that's pretty rideable. Well, the new direction, I guess. Oh! Wow, that is incredibly too short. Oh. I'm probably gonna do one more run because this is kind of a bust. We got lane. Oh, bars. That's my sign. This video was a bust. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Jump to run terrible. It's
so annoying.
Kelsey's pointing at the hub going. Anyways, jumps were riding terrible. I fixed them. We're gonna try this again without the sketchiness, but while ignoring this sketchiness. But they're riding way better today.
Wasn't it? Hey, he said he was gonna do a tuck no-hander.
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
I forgot, I missed it. Calling me out for missing trip. I feel like my lack of riding is showing. At least if it doesn't look like it's showing, it feels like it's showing. But everything's a success so far. I dropped the tires down to 65 PSI. Just allows a little bit of cushion. Stoked to start riding the yard again and actually putting time on my bike again, as I should be doing, and especially on this bike because it just feels cool. A little different. It definitely doesn't feel anything like a race bike, which was the goal. So, and with the elbow, I don't really want to push my limits too much, but I had to get one flip in today. So, short session complete. I know this one didn't seem too new, but it was very new to me because I haven't been on my bike too much lately. So, it feels good just to be riding in my backyard. Let me know what you think of it, and until next time, see you on the next one. Peace.